So now we're taking a look at S3 security. So when you create a bucket, they're all private by default. And AWS really obsesses over not exposing public buckets. They've changed the interface like 3 or 4 times, and they now send you email reminders telling you what buckets are exposed because it's a serious vulnerability for AWS, and people just seem to keep on leaving these buckets open. So when you create a new bucket, you have all public access denied. And if you want to have public access, you have to go check off this for either for your ACLs or your bucket policies. Okay. Now in S3, you can turn on logging per request. So you get all the detailed information of what objects were accessed or uploaded, deleted in granular detail. Log files are generated, but they're not put in the same bucket. They're put in a different bucket. Okay. Now, to control access to your objects and your buckets, you have 2 options. We have bucket policies and access control lists. So access control lists came first before bucket policies. They are a legacy feature, but they're not depreciated. So it's not faux pas to use them, but they're just simpler in action. And sometimes there are use cases where you might want to use them over bucket policies. And so it's just a very simple way of granting access. You right click in a bucket or an object, and you could choose who. So like there's an option to grant all public access. You could say list the objects, write the objects, or just read and write permissions. And it's as simple as that. Now bucket policies, they're a bit more complicated because you have to write a JSON document policy, but you get a lot more rich, complex rules. If you're ever setting up static S3 hosting, you definitely have to use a bucket policy. And that's what we're looking at here. This is actually the Xampro website where we're saying allow read-only access for get objects to this bucket. And so this is used in a more complicated setup, but that is the difference. So bucket policies are generally used more, they're more complex, and ACLs are just simple, and there's no faux pas from still using